This is what you play cricket for, finals time. You're obviously ready for the challenge and pumped the whole squad.
Yeah, we really are. It was a little bit of a setback against the Stars. Having said that, maybe it was a nice little wake-up call for us as well. We've fought really hard throughout the whole BBL campaign. We still haven't played our best game yet. In fact, we're probably far off playing our best game. We've kept fighting hard and our fighting instincts have been good. So hopefully we can take that into... hopefully we can take our fighting spirits into the semi-final, but also bring our A game as well.
There's a bit of a break between, I think, the Adelaide game here and then the Melbourne game, and then another week in the final. Is it hard to keep the momentum up, or how do you keep the boys going?
Yeah, it's a very good question. I think that's something that we have to look at. The BBL has been a huge success again this year. I mean, cricket's alive and well, isn't it, in Australia? It's been brilliant, but there has been a 10-day break and then a 8 or 9 day break between the last game and the semi-final. I'm sure that's something that that Cricket Australia will look at. It hasn't been ideal, but it is what it is, and we've just got to make the most of what preparation we can get in.
Justin, Shaun Marsh, have you had a good chat to him, and how is he?
Yeah, obviously Shaun's very disappointed. It seems to me like it's going to be quite a short-term injury. But I understand Cricket Australia, that they wanted to arrive for such a big tour with all their guys fit and fresh and ready to go. I don't think Shaun Marsh is going to be that far off though. So, and he's, as he's done before, he's been meticulous in his rehab, and we're hoping that he'll be on the park sooner rather than later.
No chance at all for Friday at all,
Well, physically, there's a chance. I don't know how that's going to. I'll have to wait for the ruling from Cricket Australia. I guess that it wouldn't look ideal if he missed the practice game and he played the BBL final, if we were lucky enough to make it. But it's certainly, like all these things, he's doing everything he can to be on the park as quick as possible. If that's Friday or the first Shield game, then that'll be a bonus for the Scorchers or Western Warriors.
And how is he sort of handling it all?
Yeah, he's good. The reality is with Shaun is that he's just, obviously this was such a big opportunity. There's a lot of talk about his selection, and he's very disappointed, but the big thing for him is he didn't want to let anyone down. He didn't want to get over there and not be fully fit or ping it again. So, and that's playing in his mind, and I guess that's one of the psychological barriers he's going to have to get over going forward, that he worried that his body might not hold up. So he's been so good the last 18 months or so in everything he's done. So that's just another little barrier or another little challenge he's got for him.
And so February 12, your first Shield game, are you hopeful or unsure?
I'd be amazed if he's not fit for February 12th.
And the key is just pile some runs on in the Shield, obviously, for him?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah. It was a great thrill for him to be reselected. It obviously shows that Darren Lehmann and Michael Clark and the selectors still have faith in him. They still see a future for him in Test cricket. So it's an untimely injury and very disappointing for Shaun, for everyone really, for his family and all his supporters. It would have been great to have seen him playing Test cricket again. But all he can do, we keep talking about it, he can just keep performing and letting the selectors know that he's still there when the next opportunity comes up.
So were you saying if Scorchers make the final, he could be a slim chance or no?
Well, we'd like to think so, yeah. I mean, that's another, nearly a week away, and with this injury, I know how hard the physios are we're working to get him on the plane yesterday or today or tomorrow. So he's improving every day. So yeah, you never know. Hopefully, but certainly with injuries and with selection, you've always got to leave a little ray of hope there for them. If we ruled him out straight away, if you give him that little bit of hope, it might just amazing how the body reacts.
You've had a pretty big week yourself. Obviously very disappointed with Triffett. You were over there. Someone like you taking that news wouldn't have gone down too well.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I actually feel really sorry for the players. They're such good kids and they've been working so hard. And I actually saw John Worsfold walking the dog this morning, and he said, when you think things are going really well, they're danger times. Because always life has a way of just giving you a little wake-up call. So it's a good reminder for everyone here. It'd be hard to argue that we haven't been on a great journey over the last 18 months. The guys have been fantastic on the field, off the field. This is certainly a hiccup, and I feel sorry when they made really bad decisions and they've paid the price for that. And there's been a lot of talk about whether it had to do with the sponsorship, and I thought a lot about that even if we had the Rose Garden sponsoring us, the actions would have been exactly, or the response would have been the same. We've talked very clearly, and we've talked a lot about our values and the standards we're trying to set in West Australian cricket, and unfortunately they didn't meet them, so they've had to pay the price for now, and hopefully they can move on and learn from it.
Do you feel like a strong stand has been made in terms of player culture?
I think there's been a strong stand made for the last 12 or 18 months. You know, the guys are very clear of what's expected from them, and on the surface you might say they're tough penalties, so guys will be even clearer of what's expected, but I think most of the guys are very clear, and you know, all culture is, people talk about culture, it's just about individual behaviour, you know, and it's basically in the sum of individual behaviours. So these guys had a little hiccup, but our behaviours on and off the field for, you know, some time now have been really good. So whether it's more of a wake-up call, I think it's a wake-up call for the coaches, I think it's a wake-up call for the players, I think it's a wake-up call for everyone at the WACA that it's going to be a long road from where we've come from, and we've still got work to be, there's a lot of work to be done.
It's going to be a long road back for Tom. How do you see him going about his business now, and do you think that at some stage he can get back to the kind of level that he was going about before?
Well, hopefully he'll get back to a lot higher level than he was. You know, he's played a few games last year, and the irony of the whole thing, and he and I have talked about this a lot, is that the steps he was taking forward, steps going forward were incredible. And you know, I'll say it publicly. I spoke to him a week or 2 weeks ago in our player review meetings. If you had have asked me 6 months ago where I thought Tom Triffett would be in WA next year, I probably would have said probably not, because of some of the actions from last year. If you had have asked me, or if you asked me 2 weeks ago, I'd say 100% Tom Triffett, because his actions have been brilliant on and off the field. You know, he's improving on the field. He's been fantastic. He's been working really hard off the field. He's such a nice kid, and it's just a shame this happened. So, you know, I'm sure he can fight back from here, and it'll be a great mark of his character, whether he can or not.
Just on a separate issue, Ashton Agar, I guess you spoke to him in Brisbane as well. How is he?
I'm really disappointed for Ashton Agar, and I'm really disappointed the way it's been portrayed since. You know, it's coming across like he's the villain of Australian cricket. Anyone who knows Ashton Agar, outstanding young man, and hasn't got a villainous bone in his body. So the way it's been portrayed has been disappointing. I just hope going forward that not only Ashton, but the umpires and the referees and the administrators all learn from this to make sure the system is consistent, and that we can get the system watertight and probably better in the future.
Can you confirm it's definitely the Feb 12 Shield game he's out of? He can't serve that in a futures game, is it?
As I understand it, that's right.
So assuming Beery takes his chance, I mean, is there no guarantee that Ashton comes straight back in after?
Oh, look, that's lots of hypotheticals, isn't it? So Ashton Agar played Test cricket. He's been brilliant. He's had a very good season. The job he's done for us in Shield cricket's been fantastic. Of course, I mean, it's an opportunity for whoever takes that spot. There'll be an opportunity there for them. Opportunity is a wonderful thing, isn't it? And I talk to the boys all the time that the really good players grasp their opportunity. Ashton Agar did it last year when Michael Beer was injured. So he was probably fortunate when he made his debut, but he grasped the opportunity. Some guys do grasp the opportunity, some guys don't grasp the opportunity. So yeah, if an opportunity is presented to someone else, then I'm sure they'll be looking to grab it with both hands.
And just to talk about Ashton being homesick and that sort of thing, do you think he'll be in WA next season?
100%. I've no doubt. I mean, he's signed a long-term contract, and you know, we've got to understand. I mean, if you again look under the surface of what an Ashton Agar person's going through, you know, I've seen it with Phil Hughes. I've seen it with that many young players. They play for Australia. They're the talk of the world. The talk of Australia. They're a hero. You could have written, and you've heard me say it before, you could have written, and you know, I might one day write a novel about Ashton Agar's debut. It was just, you know, it's a Cinderella story. And then, you know, what's happened over the last few months is that, like a lot of kids who realise their dream, it's like getting to the top of Mount Everest and then what's next, you know. He'll fight back, no doubt. He's a brilliant talent, he's a brilliant kid, and he's just learning that life's pretty tough, and life can be. It's not all rainbows and butterflies. Life's tough, and he's working through it, and he'll be fine. He's a great kid. He will be, no doubt, no doubt, 100%.
Can I ask one from left field? Flower no longer the England coach. You've been to England plenty of times. Would you consider anything like that? If
Is
called for?
Andy Flower not the coach?
No,
Really?
he's been.
Well, first thing I'll say is I'm amazed that Andy Flower's not the coach of England anymore. I mean, he is a brilliant bloke and a brilliant coach. I mean, he's stands for so much, so I'm surprised about that. Mate, my heart and soul's at West Australian cricket at the moment, so who knows what will happen in the future, but at the moment my heart's in West Australia.